Hey everybody, Rich with PrepU down here in the bunker. Hey, today we are going to talk about where can I get my prepping items, not these kind of prepping items, but other kind of prepping items that are going to round out your ability to self-sustain. If, you know, God forbid the grid goes down or you need to count on yourself for, you know, everything that needs to be done around your house. Also, it's great for if you live in the country. This is the kind of stuff you should have with you and available. So there's several places that I love to go to get things. Um, I love to go to garage sales and estate sales. And where I live, there are a lot of them all the time. And we're not looking for the real cool stuff. We're not looking for the baseball cards and the gold. And well, you could be looking for knives, but most of the knives around here aren't the kind of knives that we need. What you're looking for is, just items that you can use around the house, items that are going to help you. Um, Especially if the grid goes down, like I said earlier, you're going to want, non-power tools. Now, a lot of you, like I, have battery operated tools, and we also have, solar generators that you can charge up your items with, which is really nice to have. But these are everyday items that you should also have also. So let's talk about some of the stuff you can get at garage sales. Okay. So, and like I said, estate sales also. So hand tools. Hand tools are a great place. You know, and for prepping, it doesn't even have to be for prepping. If you're a new homeowner and you don't have the stuff, and unlike me, when I got a new home and everything, my dad was like, half a mile away. So I would just go over there and borrow his tools. And whenever he was looking for a tool, you know where he went. He came to my house and said, "Hey, do you have my so and so?" I go, I don't know. Maybe. But if for prepping and for new homeowners and stuff, also garage and estate sales are great for like hand tools, generators. A lot of people I've noticed have generators, especially estate sales. Okay. um, some of them, they just don't need them because they're moving into a townhome, they're moving to Florida, they're moving wherever, and or maybe a retirement community and all that kind of stuff. Not to say that you don't need a generator down there, but they don't want to haul them. And some of the generators have small little issues that you can fix by a common tune-up. Maybe it's running rough. Maybe it needs a new uh, fuel filter. Maybe it needs a new spark plug or whatever. If you can pick it up on the cheap, you can probably fix it yourself really, really easy and have a real nice, $900 generator for about 300 bucks. I mean, and then if you want to, if you want to make extra money to buy other preps, turn around and sell it for six. So I mean, that's really good. Cots and camping gear. We got all our cots and camping gear because we were in Boy Scouts for so long, and we did a lot of high adventure camping. We went to the Boundary Waters. We went to Philmont, New Mexico, and stuff. Did a lot of backpacking in different places in Wisconsin and stuff like that. Storage containers. Storage containers are really great. You can get those at estate sales and garage sales. Cast iron. Cast iron is probably the best thing you can cook on. I can remember my dad, uh, since he was a big fisherman, loved to have fish. My mom loved to have fish, but she didn't want it cooked inside. He used cast iron on his charcoal grill. It was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. If you can find Dutch ovens are great. That's all we cooked in at Boy Scouts was Dutch ovens. There are some great books that you can get on how to cook in cast iron and Dutch ovens. And speaking of books, when the grid goes down and you can't remember everything, books are super, super important. So what kind of books can you find at a garage sale? Oh my gosh, gardening, woodworking, country living, fishing, recipe books, medical books, home repair books. These are all the kind of books that you need. Actually, we have several videos on books and articles. Whenever I find a really good article, I either download it and print it or download it and then put it on a drive so I can make access to it. Um, Anything you find 100% wool, that's clothing, that's blankets. It may look horrible, but you know what? It's going to keep you really, really warm when it gets really, really cold. They're great to throw in your car in the wintertime. Just have that wool blanket and, like a wool sweatshirt, or even wool pants are nice to have. Wool socks are really important with a liner to have those. So those are really good. Um, you can, if you're lucky, find, gold and silvers. Every once in a while, you'll run across some place that maybe the silverware set isn't silver plate, and maybe it's it's true silver. You don't have to eat on that. You take that and you sell it, and then you have more money for um, your prepping items. Gold. I've even found earrings with that were gold. They're really nice. They were just thrown in with a bunch of stuff. Obviously, whoever was selling them, I don't think they had a professional estate sale person, or it was a garage sale, one of the two. I can't remember. Um, but my wife liked them, so win-win. Um, Bikes, bug out vehicles. When things go down, and chances are your vehicles are going to work even after an EMP or a solar flare or whatever. Um, but bikes are really nice to have because eventually you're going to run out of fuel. If you have a full fuel tank, which you should have all the time, is a full fuel tank, no less than a half. Um, got to get out, got to move around, got to go scouting around somehow. And if you don't have a bike, it's a great place to pick up a bike. Fishing gear, absolutely fantastic place for fishing gear. Most of the people that are out there looking for fishing gear at estate sales want the antique stuff because they want to turn around and resell it. Or they have a collection of certain kind of wooden lures or spinners or stuff like that. But you can always find fishing gear. And the fishing gear I like is just the monofilament, the hooks, the leaders, the sinkers, the bobbers. That's great to have. You should have an emergency fishing kit. We have a video on emergency fishing kits, so that's really good to have. Um, Another place I like to go is farm auctions. I know a lot of people go, "Oh, farm auctions! I don't go to farm auctions. It's horrible. The family, they have to sell everything." But that's not always the case. You can also find out, from the auctioneer or neighbors, hey, do they have to sell everything because of taxes, which you hate to see, but you want to help them out at the same time, or are they moving on? Nobody else in the family want to do it anymore. And you can pick up really good equipment there. Now, some of this stuff you're going to go, Rich, I live in the city or I live in the suburb. What am I going to use for that? But a lot of us either are already in the country, way in the boondocks, or are planning on going there or have someplace already. So some of these items you can pick up on the cheap. Tractors are out there. Doesn't matter the size. I mean, you've all seen the John Deere commercials, where they've got just small little tractors for doing stuff around your estate. Maybe you got a 2-3 acre estate and you need it. Hay baling equipment if you're into that. Boats, fishing boats. I know a lot of people that've gotten flat bottom river boats at auctions because all these farmers have little ponds or good sized ponds on their property and have a boat. You can get that. Guns sometimes. I mean, you can find some stuff there. Be real careful. Take a look at the state law, where you are, and all that. Obviously, heavy equipment, ATVs you can find. Something really good, butchering equipment. You can pick up some stuff like that. If you're a hunter and you want to get all the equipment to be able to do it yourself instead of sending it out to be butchered and stuff like that. Obviously, at estate sales and that, but farm auctions and just farms in general, you can get, produce. Another great place to find cast iron is at a farm auction because they know how to cook. They use cast iron. Tools go without saying at a farm auction. All different kinds of tools that you would have never thought. Food preservation equipment. Okay, so you've got pressure cookers and you've got ball jars and you've got all kinds of stuff that you can get at farm auction. Utility trailers, absolutely, because they're hauling their equipment around from field to field. They're going to have trailers, and if you're into it and you really want it, livestock. It's a great place to pick up livestock. Um, as I get older, my dreams of having a small little farm are getting thinner and thinner, and the bulbs going down, down, down. Not as bright as it used to be, you know. But um, I would love to have a small little farmette and have stuff like that. So farm auctions are a great place to get livestock. So um, there's also some tools. You know, we talk about having uh, non-power tools that you might want to pick up, and it's basically vintage kitchen items for cooking and stuff like that. Just I have a list here. It's kitchen tools. Again, cast iron Dutch ovens are really good. Pressure cookers are really good to have around. We talked about that with the farm auctions. A food mill, something that processes food without power. A meat grinder. I can remember my grandmother grinding meat, making stuff, you know, just a hand crank meat grinder, put it in the top and it just comes out the side, you know, as a hamburger. An arm level juicer. If you love juice, that juicer, you just pull that thing down, you know, and just squeeze it instead of a power one. French press for coffee. You can always warm water, put it in there with your coffee grounds, and then push that press down. Coffee comes to the top, and you got coffee. Always good to have. A grater. You need a grater, obviously. Apple slicer and corer if you're going to cook. That's really nice, you know, vintage antique stuff. It's all it is a crank. You know, you're just going to do that. Manual egg beater. How many of you have a manual egg beater in your kitchen? I'll bet not many of you do. Everybody's got, you know, like mixers, you know, that run off of power and stuff like that. Well, what are you going to do if the power goes out? A meat hammer is great. Also, some woodworking tools are really nice. Blacksmith, you know, a forge and anvil is really nice to have, especially if you're off the grid, if you have to fix stuff. But woodworking tools are really nice to have. Um, what else? Wood splitting wedges. Those are awesome. Now, I've seen, and have you seen on like YouTube and some other places, they have this wedge that goes on a drill and it just spins and it just splits wood. Well, you know, that's great, but when you don't have any more power or you don't have a piece of equipment that is strong enough to use that, wedges are really good. That's the old way that people used to split wood. Draw knife. Draw knives are basically you hand it like this and you're going to draw that across the wood. It's going to smooth out the wood when you're making stuff. If you're making pole barns or whatever, small storage sheds, you know, on your property out there. A gimlet. A gimlet, for those of you that don't know what a gimlet is, I mean, they can be really small to really big. It's a tool. It's a T tool. All right, so you got this shaft that comes down, and you've got this like bit that goes into the wood, and you got a little handle. And based on how big that bit is how big the handle is. And you just kind of crank it like this, and it drills down through the wood. So there you go. You know, that's always good to have. You know, a carpenter's brace, same thing. That's heavy duty drilling if you're going to do that. Sewing awl, you've all seen those. It's like a wooden handle and it's got this little metal point that comes in. So you just basically push it through the leather or whatever. It makes your hole when it's really hard to sew. A nail puller. You should have a nail puller anyhow. A nail puller is not what you're thinking. It's not on the hammer. A nail puller is by itself. If you've noticed, you know, the curve of the nail puller on the hammer, sometimes you just can't get in it. And when you try to get in there, the handle's in the way. So these are little devices. They look like a screwdriver, but they've got a little fork. Put the nail right in there, and then they're curved. So when you push down, the nail pops up a little bit. You know, and those are really good if the nail is down deep. You can kind of get in there and work it out a little bit. But these are some of the tools that you really need to think about above and beyond this stuff. You know, so I mean, we have lists on our list video about tools like this and stuff you can get. So, but basically, these are things you can get at garage sales, estate sales, farm auctions. You can find this at vintage tool places that sell them, antique shops and stuff like that. Uh, especially these tools. They don't really sell them to the average person. They've got them there, and they aren't really very expensive. The only people, the bigger the item, they may sell it to a restaurant or something like that to put on a wall or home decor and stuff like that. But be real careful because some of that stuff is just, copied. It's not real. It doesn't work. Um, so you have to be real careful about that. But that's it. That's it for your prepping tip of week. Uh, basically, to where to find items above and beyond food to help you prepare to go off the grid or be off the grid for a short or extended period of time, and also to collect really cool tools. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this week's prepping tip, and we will see you next week. Other than that, thank you, subscribers. You're awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as we always say, always be aware of your surroundings. Always have enough food, water, and medicine to shelter in place for months if need be, and at least 72 or more hours if you have to bug out to get where you're going. So, lastly, but certainly not least, prep like your life depends on it because it really does. Thanks a lot. See you next time.